One of my personal... Dang. Okay, hold on. One of my personal favorite actors, and as well as the rest of the general public's favorite actors, has to be Keanu Reeves. Primary reason being he's never really had any controversies before, and he's never really gotten into the politics world, it's a world that no celebrity should ever be in the first place. So good on him for that. And also, he makes great movies. Another celebrity to compare him to, it's arguably gotta be Rowan Atkinson, considering that he doesn't conform to politics either. Yes, he did talk about free speech, but he was base, okay? So that's an exception that people willingly make for celebrities. But otherwise, they don't want to see celebrities just virtue signal and talk about politics all the time. They just want to see celebrities make movies. And that's what Keanu Reeves and Rowan Atkinson, other actors like this do. I'd say maybe Matthew McConaughey also serves as a pretty good contender. I think Keanu Reeves has got to be one of the world's fan favorite actors because of this reason. And he just makes really good movies as well. So let's just dive in to how he didn't turn out just like the other celebrities, but rather he went his own way, and in turn he became really successful out of it. The video we're going to be reacting to is Keanu Reeves Refused to Sell His Soul to Hollywood by Patrick CC. I like this guy. He has a great channel full of documentaries, and I personally find him very entertaining to watch.
Most celebrities' lowest moments, biggest freakouts, or controversies draw the most interest from the general public. For Keanu Reeves, it's the total opposite. The more normal, down-to-earth, and humble he is, the bigger the response. In this 2011 video that has 16 million...
Oh, not to mention, the Korean actor that plays Ji-hun from Squid Game, he lives just like Keanu Reeves does, except that he doesn't even have any, like, wealth. Like, he doesn't, like, save any of his wealth or anything like that. Like, it's like, I forgot his name. It's like, just like Ji-hun actor. Yes, it's Lee Jung-jae. Yeah, Lee Jung-jae. He is like a Korean version of Keanu Reeves in a sense. I'll just have to search this up for a second. Hold on. Okay, never mind. I thought something else. I guess I was wrong.
Views, a woman backed her Mercedes SUV into Keanu Reeves' classic 1973 Norton Commando 750 motorcycle while the actor was inside a medical building. The Beverly Hills police showed up to document the incident.
I was gonna say he was like Keanu Reeves, but
just like any normal person would, and drives off after a couple of minutes. In this 2021 video, Keanu talks to his fans about his motorcycle. 8.3 million views.
I mean, I know Keanu Reeves has got a mansion, but in public, he doesn't like travel like most rich people and most famous people do.
The way they stand back and give him space, and meanwhile he's smiling, talking, reaching out to them. He's doing nothing to push them away. In this 2015 video, Keanu walks through an airport in a hurry while stopping to take some photos with fans. He is flying commercial and has no bodyguard.
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Being able to stop, this is not just, it's not just like most celebrities will avoid people if they're in a rush, but the thing is, most people in general, when they're in a rush, will not stop for other people because they're too focused in their own world for getting to other places. Keanu Reeves is willing to stop for other people. It's not even engraved in himself as a famous character. It's just engraved in him as a person in general. I'm not going to glaze him too much, but this is not something that everybody has. Most non-famous people, most normal people wouldn't really stop for others if they're in a rush like that, you know?
Despite him being worth $350 million, 7.7 million views. Here's what Joe Rogan had to say about Keanu.
That guy sits on the subway by himself. No, like,
That's freaking awesome.
yeah, but there's no obvious outward displays of wealth from him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's insanely wealthy. When you see him, he's dressed like me.
Yeah.
He's got like a regular watch on, sneakers. He's normal. It's real weird.
Some of you might think it's weird that people
Bamboo HR is the complete HR software. Self-service employee records, payroll that is fast.
praise Keanu for having basic human decency, which goes to show you how Hollywood has lowered our expectations for celebrities immensely. But once you learn about Keanu's rough upbringing, as well as his over-the-top acts of generosity, you will understand why he has earned the title of the nicest man in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, and not to mention, Keanu Reeves is a really nice guy. He's not like this kind of celebrity that fakes being nice on television, right? He doesn't fake. He's not like James Corden. James Corden or Ellen DeGeneres, I like to call her Ellen the Degenerate. Those two plus like, I don't know, a lot of late night hosts like that. A pretty decent amount of like celebrities, especially like hosts of talk shows. They're really nice on camera, but once the camera shuts off, they're not even nice to their audience. That's because they weren't built for this kind of stuff. And I truly believe that Hollywood was built for people like Keanu Reeves. Or literally anybody who's willing to stay consistent with either being a jerk all the time or being nice all the time. People like people who are consistent with if they're nice or not. Because at least they're being themselves all the time. And I don't think it really matters that much the fact that he's a nice guy in general. Rather, the fact that he is just being himself all the time. James Corden and Ellen DeGeneres were not being themselves all the time. They were faking it on camera, and then they were being their real selves off camera, which is being like a bunch of hermit crabs. Like, they were being mean, they were being jerks, they were being super picky. Like, they were essentially like just being mean to other people in real life, being jerks. But I'm not going to go on a tirade about this. But I'm just saying, if you're going to be famous, if you're going to be even a content creator, I think you should be consistent with who you are on camera versus off camera. And that's exactly what I'm going to try and be as a YouTuber. Learn from
Keanu's
Keanu.
father, Samuel Reeves, struggled with substance abuse, was in and out of prison for selling heroin until he ultimately abandoned his family when Keanu was just 3 years old, forcing his mother, Patricia, left to raise 2 children on her own, working tirelessly as a costume designer. Patricia married and divorced 4 different men during Keanu's upbringing. According to Keanu's sister, the revolving door of men had a substantial impact on their childhood. How we lived our lives depended on the man of the moment. Despite having numerous...
It's crazy how none of his
kids
siblings look
were on
like
their own
him.
for the most part. Kim claims, "We never had anyone to play with us, to watch me riding
Not that it's a
horses
bad thing or
playing
anything,
hockey."
but I'm just saying.
We all know that young men who grow up without stable father figures are more likely to grow up aggressive, angry, depressed, and often repeat the cycle of abandonment.
That's even more shocking to say, because the fact that this happened to him, I don't know, maybe the thing is, I believe that human nature is that even though trauma is present, I think humans are, in general, infragile. If people can learn how to cope with certain things, in certain kinds of hardships, they will become superhumans. They will be unstoppable with hardships of similar or lesser difficulty in the future. And it makes them very rock hard, strong people in the mental sense.
Abandonment. Keanu was set up for failure from the very beginning. His teachers noticed a vague sadness that loomed above him like a dark cloud. He spent more than 5 years bouncing from one high school to another, including one where he got expelled because he was too rambunctious. Keanu thinks he talked too much and was not generally the most well-oiled machine.
What's rambunctious? Hold on a second. What? Keanu being noisy, energetic, and difficult to control. I can't even imagine that. I can't fathom that right now.
In the school.
I need a
just
time
blown
machine to
away,
see
I
that.
guess. Keanu felt a strong disconnect from others. They made him feel unwelcome, which did not change when he arrived in Hollywood. Reeves' agents told him that his name was too ethnic.
So it's a good thing. It's a good thing to be different. The thing is, it's not just that he was different, it's that he was cumbersome. Am I using the right word here? He was completely different. It's not like he was different. He was 100% completely different. Now, yes, given acting standards, he is an A-lister, and he does, he is in a lot of A-lister movies with a lot of A-lister actors, but he is completely different. Sticks out like a sore thumb. Cumbersome. Which, it might seem like a bad thing at first, but it's actually a good thing to avoid a lot of conflicts and a lot of bumps in your career that might destroy or ruin your reputation.
It's the mid-1980s, but it still seems like a silly thing to worry about. And although Keanu was justifiably annoyed about it, he actually took what they said into consideration and tried a different name, calling himself Casey or Casey Reeves. But whenever he had auditions and they called Casey, he wouldn't respond. Most people would not even consider changing their name, let alone actually giving it a shot. Keanu proved early on he was open-minded and easy to work with. He went back to using his real name, and it had zero negative impact on his career. What did have an impact on his career
it's a cool
was the
name.
roles he landed early on. The foundation for Hollywood's nice guy was built on him being casted as somewhat of a teen heartthrob. Young and handsome male actors often accrue fan bases of women who romanticize them as the perfect guy. First, he starred in NBC's...
Well, here's the thing. A lot of women don't want nice guys. But I think, honestly, with Keanu Reeves, some women would really like this kind of guy. But I think a lot of girls, in general, they don't want just a nice guy. Because they want some inconsistency. But I don't know, man. I'm just talking from my experience, but I think honestly Keanu, he's a stud with the ladies, but I'm not gonna glaze him.
Babes in Toyland, Act of Vengeance, and Brotherhood of Justice, as well as making his first motion picture appearances in the sports drama Youngblood and the low-budget romantic drama Flying. But when he met casting director Carrie Fraser, everything changed. He walked in the door and I went, oh my god, this is my guy. It was just because of the way he held his body. His shoes were untied, and what he was wearing looked like a young person growing into being a man. I was over the moon about him. His youth appeal earned him roles in dramas such as The Night Before, The Prince of Pennsylvania, and Permanent Record. But his big break came in 1989 with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yep.
Although the film received mixed reviews,
I knew it.
It was
It's got to be that one.
box office success, grossing $40 million against a $10 million budget. Reeves' portrayal as Ted Logan significantly boosted Keanu's Hollywood profile. Before getting the part, director Stephen Herrick screened between 200 and 300 actors for the main roles, requesting that each actor try out for both leading roles. Keanu was among the first to audition, and Herrick immediately set on casting him as Ted. When Keanu came in, he was one of the first. It was really kind of like, wow, he's Ted, and there was sort of a lovable goofiness to him. But Keanu wasn't just acting as a lovable good guy. That was really him. He proved that in 1991, where his act of kindness changed a man's career. In the adventure film My Own Private Idaho, Keanu co-starred along River Phoenix as a street hustler. Before filming, director Gus Van Sant struggled conceptualizing actors for the two lead roles. He sent the script out to Keanu and River's agents, expecting them to reject it. Reeves' agent was open to the project, however, Phoenix's agent stopped reading the screenplay halfway down the first page, adamantly declining. Van Sant convinced Keanu to personally deliver the script to River Phoenix at his home in Florida since they were friends. Keanu did the director a massive favor, and over the 1990 Christmas holiday, he rode his motorcycle from his family home in Canada to the Phoenix Family Ranch in Macanopy, Florida, roughly a 2,100 kilometer or 1,300 mile ride. After the long ride...
Wait. Let me just get this straight. So he drove 1,000 miles to deliver a script for a director to an actor that didn't even want to read the script. I think he's crazy. I think he might be a little bit crazy. But some craziness is a good thing, alright? But I think he's kind of crazy, okay?
River read the script and wanted the role that Keanu was casted as, but they convinced him to take the edgier role of the drug-addicted hustler, Mike, which he accepted. The craziest part is, River ended up getting way more praise than Keanu in this film. Phoenix won Best Actor honors at the Venice Film Festival, the National Society of Film Critics, and the Independent Spirit Awards. Tragically, in 1993, following several days of binging on cocaine and heroin, 23-year-old River Phoenix passed away.
And that's why I never heard of this guy before. Okay, that clears up a lot of things because I haven't heard about this guy until this video.
Outside Hollywood's Viper.
So he's like Heath Ledger, rest in peace. He's like Heath Ledger, but except a little bit back then, so like a decade earlier.
Club right in front of his brother, sister, and girlfriend. Keanu has rarely mentioned his close friendship with River over the years, opting to keep that part of his life private. But River's death still feels like a fresh wound to Keanu's heart even 30 years later. But if we're being honest, Keanu driving that motorcycle wasn't much of a sacrifice. That man loves to ride. However, during the filming of The
Hey, yo, that kind of sounded sus.
Devil's Advocate, he gave up something that 99% of other actors wouldn't: money. The Devil's Advocate is a supernatural thriller that follows a young lawyer who dives deep into the dark world of success and temptation. While casting, producers approached Oscar winner...
So basically, this movie is about the complete opposite of Keanu Reeves, which Keanu Reeves played as. Got it.
Al Pacino, who turned down the role of John Milton 3 separate times due to the cliché nature of the character. Pacino even suggested Robert Redford and Sean Connery for the role.
Ooh, great actors.
Keanu reportedly took a substantial pay cut worth millions of dollars so that producers could meet Al Pacino's salary demands. And yet again, Keanu's sacrifice benefited everyone.
Wow, okay, so Keanu basically gave up his salary for a selfish actor. Okay, I'm judging. I shouldn't judge. I get it. Maybe that character was a little too edgy. But basically, Al Pacino was being a little bit selfish, a little bit greedy for money. He said, I'll do this for a little bit more money. And he basically took from Keanu Reeves' salary. And I guess he didn't say thank you. I hope he said thank you. Like, that's pretty generous. Like, I think it'd be a little bit... I'd be a little bit hesitant to do that myself.
At him. The film grossed over $61 million at the box office, and Al Pacino's performance was highly praised as one of the few bright spots in the film. And it wasn't the last time he gave up some of his salary. The actor reportedly took a 90% pay cut 3 years later so that he could star alongside Gene Hackman in The Replacements.
Dang. Okay, rest in peace, Gene Hackman. Man, I haven't heard about Gene Hackman in a long time. Hold on, my dogs are barking. So basically, Keanu Reeves is doing it for the love of the game at this point. He's just getting paid so we can live. But he's basically just acting because he loves acting, which is something that you rarely see nowadays. Another glaze point for Keanu Reeves. So he's basically acting because he's actually passionate about acting, and he likes the game more than he likes the paycheck, which is something that most Hollywood celebrities don't actually feel. I think, honestly, most Hollywood celebrities should just get kicked out and get replaced with people who are actually passionate about acting and are not just trying to build a celebrity profile just so they can get more money and more fame and more social power. We need more actors that just act for the love of the game. I think another actor that's like Keanu Reeves in this sense is Michael C. Hall. This guy played Dexter, right? But this guy is a theater kid. For the most part, he just does theater. Aside from the show Dexter, of course. And I guess he did like a couple of other movies as well. But for the most part, he was just doing Dexter. And he does it for the love of the game. Because otherwise, he didn't do too many movies aside from Dexter. And go search it up. He is a theater kid. I watched a couple of docu-series about him on YouTube. It was pretty entertaining.
But it didn't really matter if Keanu was a great guy or not, because many people thought he was a mediocre actor. In his most
Ah, man,
successful
there's
film
no
at
way
this
my
point,
camera
he was
turned off like
considered
that.
the worst performer. Bram Stoker's Dracula was the award-winning gothic horror film where Reeves portrayed Jonathan Harker. The film was critically and commercially successful, grossing $82 million worldwide, surpassing Point Break as Keanu's highest grossing
Oh
film.
man, I really like this movie. If you haven't seen it right now, I think it's on Netflix or something. Please watch it. It's a good movie.
The film was a success. Many
Both
critics
actors are
disagreed with
amazing,
Keanu's
by the
casting
way.
and considered his performance weak. Total film writer Josh Winning said that Keanu's work spoiled the movie. He mentioned it in a 2011 list of 50 performances that ruined movies. Keanu's attempt at an English accent has been considered one of the worst accents in the history of recorded film.
Yes, of course, sir. If I may inquire, what in fact happened to Mr. Renfield in Transylvania?
But it doesn't
Yeah,
stop
no,
there.
I don't. Look, I'm not that kind of guy who judges accents like that, but I'm not really interested into forcing an accent like that, you know? Just do an American accent at this point.
In 1993, Keanu had a role in the Shakespearean-based romantic comedy Much Ado About Nothing. Despite receiving positive reviews, Reeves' casting once again garnered criticism, and he would be nominated for Worst Supporting Actor at the Golden Raspberry Awards. After 2 more lackluster drama films, Keanu's career was on life support. Luckily for him, something big was right around the corner. Speed, an action classic whose premise revolves around a bus that is rigged by a terrorist to explode if its speed falls below 50 miles per hour. In 1993, executives were looking for an actor to portray the protagonist, Officer G.
I haven't seen the movie, but I think the easy solution is just to drive on the highway and you'll get enough time to disable the bomb. As long as you're not driving in rush hour traffic, you should be good.
Jack Traven. They considered Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks, Wesley Snipes, and Woody Harrelson, but landed on Keanu. And again, he had to make some major sacrifices for this role. The director, Jean de Bont, didn't want the character to have long hair, so Keanu shaved his head.
Wow, okay, so not only did he sacrifice he sacrificed 90% of his paycheck, right? 90%, I think 70% as well from the other one, or like 30, I don't remember the last one. It was 90%, something percent, and now he gives up his luscious, beautiful hair. Now, I think long hair in both guys and girls, it's kind of something that's hard to let go, right? You kind of hesitate before doing that. And I'm pretty sure even he hesitated to do that as well, because that's not something you can get with money, right? Well, I mean, money can help, but otherwise, money doesn't exactly make your hair long, right? So that's kind of a big sacrifice in my opinion.
Studio executives got so upset over his shaved head that they demanded he wear a wig, but this was the director's vision, so they trusted him. However, there were more problems. De Bont didn't think Reeves looked strong enough. The thing with Keanu is that he looks very boyish. I didn't want him to be like a kid, and he loves to be like a kid. Keanu was yet again dedicated to completing a director's vision. He spent 2 months filling out his frame and getting in shape for the role. He was nervous in the beginning, then he got addicted to the adrenaline. This was only Keanu's second action film, but the hard work paid off big time. The summer of 1994 saw the release of Speed, which grossed $350 million on a $30 million budget, becoming the 5th highest grossing film of 1994 and winning 2 Academy Awards.
She kinda looks like a witch, not gonna lie. Ugh, man, that's some terrible lighting, or she just needs to get some... Look, I feel like she got cosmetic surgery or something. That's what just... It looks like cosmetic surgery. Anyways, I'm not going to talk about it.
Reason to know how little Keanu cares about money, he turned down a $12 million offer to star in Speed 2, Cruise Control. Despite the original being his most successful project to date at that point in his career, it wasn't against any of the artists that were involved in the project. But at the time, I'm sure we've all had this kind of feeling sometimes when things just don't feel right, and that's how I was feeling. Because of this decision, Keanu was blacklisted by 20th Century Fox for a decade. It was okay when he sacrificed his own money, but Hollywood executives will punish those that get in the way of making the millions. Unfortunately for them, the blacklist did not prevent Keanu from becoming a global superstar, because his next film was about to set him up for life. The Matrix depicts a dystopian future in which humanity is unknowingly trapped inside a simulated reality that intelligent machines have created to distract humans while using their bodies as an energy source. Keanu was not the producer's first choice. Will Smith declined because he thought the film was too ambitious. Nicolas Cage refused because he didn't want to film in Australia for that long. Brad Pitt declined to star in Fight Club. Good choice. Sandra Bullock felt that Neo should be a man and that she didn't fit, and even Johnny Depp declined, leaving them with Keanu, who felt lucky to be considered for this movie. In preparation for the role, Keanu spent several months enduring intense martial arts training, which was intense considering he was fighting a pretty serious injury. He had a bulging disc in his spine, which led to him having a 2-level fusion on his spine before training and getting a plate in his neck. He never told anyone because he wouldn't have been able to do the film, so he trained for The Matrix in a neck brace. Upon release, The Matrix opened to widespread acclaim from critics.
That's crazy, man.
Its innovative visual effects, action sequences, cinematography, and entertainment value. It was a massive success at the box office, grossing over $460 million on a $63 million budget, becoming the highest grossing Warner Bros. Film of 1999 and the 4th highest grossing film of that year. Keanu reportedly made $14 million for his role before scoring an extra $49 million after the film because of the box office success. The Matrix is a
despite giving up his paychecks by like massive proportions in the movies before, somehow he still made bank. Impressive.
Classic. And although Keanu was a successful actor before, he had officially secured legendary status with this film. As if his father's abandonment and losing his best friend wasn't enough pain inflicted on Keanu, he was about to face another tragedy immediately at the highest point in his life. Keanu and his girlfriend, Jennifer Syme, were expecting the birth of their first child. The baby was stillborn 8 months into Jennifer's pregnancy, which they found out on Christmas Eve in 1999. Suffering from postnatal depression and the grief of losing their child, the relationship didn't last as Keanu and Jennifer eventually split. They remained good friends and were on the verge of getting back together until Jennifer died in a tragic car accident in 2001.
That's if they couldn't get any worse there.
Keanu remains strong and uses his grief as motivation.
Now, what did I say earlier? Thing is, these kinds of events, Keanu has kind of the mental build of he's been harmed a lot mentally. But the fact that he went through all this tribulation, it just made him so mentally fortified, right? I know, I'm glazing this guy, all right? But he has become one of the most mentally fortified people as far as famous people go, especially in the acting world. So, I'd say he didn't deserve all this happening to him, but I'm gonna tell you this: it shaped him into a better person, and he's a better person. The world sees him as a better person than almost anybody else in Hollywood. Simple as that. And I'm pretty sure the fact that he went through all this tragedy and all this heartache, it shaped him.
Because shortly after this, Keanu started a cancer foundation. In 2009, Reeves revealed that he has a private foundation that's been running for 5 or 6 years, and it helps aid a couple of children's hospitals and cancer research.
And he's humble when he makes generous donations.
Does, where most celebrities try to indulge in their own moral grandstanding and pretentiousness.
What are the odds that when he gave up his paychecks, the actors that took the portion of his paycheck, they didn't know that he gave up his paycheck? What are the odds?
Do a good deed. Keanu kept it private for as long as possible, but his generosity doesn't stop there. During production of the sequel, The Matrix Reloaded, Keanu filmed a scene where his character Neo was involved in a battle fighting a bunch of clones of Agent Smith. The scene involved a dozen stuntmen who all acted as different Smiths in the scene. To thank them for their hard work, Keanu generously gave each member of the film's stunt team a brand new Harley-Davidson motorbike. And no, this wasn't the only time he ever gave gifts to cast members. Reeves gave his John Wick Chapter 4 stunt team personalized Rolex Submariner watches to thank them for their hard work. The watches were worth $10,000 each.
That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy.
Resurrection stunt team, booking them an all-expenses-paid trip to the premiere premiere. As a token of his appreciation, Reeves took care of the private jet travel and hotel accommodations, premiere tickets, and even organized a special post-premiere brunch for invitees, among other gifts. It was reported by multiple news outlets that Keanu donated $31.5 million, or 70% of his Matrix money, to cancer research. However, the story is not true. Keanu Reeves did not donate 70% of his salary to charity, his publicist confirmed. The internet immediately ran with this narrative because anytime they can get an excuse to praise Keanu for his generosity, they will take it. And after all,
Wow.
it does seem like something
Okay,
they do.
so-
Ironically, the gesture that got him the most...
So people generally, with a celebrity, they find an excuse to hate a celebrity, but this is the complete opposite with Keanu Reeves. They're trying to find an excuse to love him. Okay? How often do you see that? You don't see that with even Mr. Beast. But you see that with the guy who played John Wick, the guy who played Neo, right? This one guy in particular, you try and find a reason to love him. The people are just trying hard to find a reason to love this guy because he is the most likable celebrity in Hollywood. Close contender, Rowan Atkinson.
praise and attention was by far the most simple and normal. In 2011, this video of Keanu on the New York City subway went viral. After noticing a woman carrying a hefty bag, he pointed to his seat and asked if she wanted to sit down. The woman accepted the offer, at which point Keanu got up to let her take the seat he was occupying. The video has more than 42 million views. Just the idea of him riding the subway instead of some limousine or having a personalized driver made people relate to the icon.
I think even if he didn't have modest intentions in that scene, riding on public transportation as a celebrity is WPR. Very WPR. And I don't even care if he saw the camera, right? Yeah, I don't even care if he did that because he saw the camera, which I'm pretty sure he didn't. Most people probably would have because they saw the camera, but the thing is, that's super WPR. The fact that, and he's not even trying, by the way. I don't think he's trying to get good PR out of this. He has just purely modest intentions, and therefore he is accidentally getting really good public image out of it. I don't know why I said that like a caveman.
Let alone giving up his seat. Many photos of him with women went viral that point out his no-touching policy. He was being coined a respectful king because he refuses to rest his hand.
Not even Pedro Pascal does this. You see Pedro Pascal, he's a nice guy, and he's willing to, get down to the level when he talks to ladies. He looks at people's fingernails, but he gets a little bit touchy-feely. You know what I mean? That's not Keanu. I don't think Keanu's trying to downplay it at all. So, this is actually perfect for anybody's reputation. If you want to learn how to handle your reputation, just look at Keanu Reeves. All right. I know he's not a perfect human being because nobody is as far as we're created, but this is excellent. This is an excellent way to handle your reputation. And he was blacklisted before.
Women while taking photos with them, and he rather just floats it a few inches away from their back. Most celebrities' dark side or controversies drive the most engagement. For Keanu, it's the total opposite. Viral Keanu news is him giving to homeless people, or spending time with them on the street, playing with puppies, showing a plush toy around China, or dropping genuine wisdom.
This is the kind of thing most Hollywood celebrities want to look like, but they fail to be because they aren't actually like this in real life. Keanu is just like that in real life, and therefore that's all we see him as. That's why we praise him so much. That's why we glaze him. That's why I'm glazing him right now. It's because he is like this all the time. We have to be like this. Especially if you're aspiring to be famous, or even a content creator, an actor, or whatever, you gotta live like him, in a sense, right? He definitely made it. He made his reputation impeccable, unstoppable, because of how he lives. Most celebrities are jerks. Deep within side, of course. And I'm just talking in comparison, by the way, so they're not really, really jerks, but they aren't willing to go down to that level even though they desire that kind of public imagery. But because they fail to, they resort to the dark side. the dark side of their reputation.
What do you think happens when we die, Keanu Reeves?
And he's also openly corny in the public. It just makes him nicer and more likable, right?
I know that the ones who love us will miss us.
With all the pain Keanu has experienced, combined with the massive success he's had in Hollywood, he chose to remain a kind-hearted, humble man rather than a self-righteous narcissist. Most celebrities sell their souls for fame and fortune. Keanu uses his fame and fortune to help others. And although it may seem like he is over-celebrated for the smallest acts of kindness, Keanu Reeves has proved time and time again that he isn't a great guy by Hollywood standards. He is just a great human being.
Great video by Patrick CC. I'll link that down there. But honestly, I know maybe there are some negative things about Keanu Reeves that people would probably, know. But the overwhelming majority of publicity that he has, like 99.5% of it, is just good things, right? That is something that most celebrities only dream of. They have wet dreams of having this kind of success in the public image. That's the kind of publicity that James Corden and Ellen DeGeneres have wet dreams about. But they fail to do so because they are jerks off camera. I know I'm citing a limited amount of examples, but they heavily contribute to what I'm talking about here. So, Keanu Reeves, in my opinion, is a great example of how you should be if you are famous, or in general. And in turn, you will have great publicity because you're not looking for good publicity. You're not just doing it for publicity. You're just doing it just to be a decent person. Good things will follow, good intentions, and good actions. Anyways, that's it. I'll see you all the next time. Also, be consistent.